What's up, Commanders Nation? It's your favorite guys, Reedie and Z, back for Monday Command. In this episode, we're here to talk about, did the Commanders just leave the door open for Bobby Wagner? Is the door still open for Deebo Samuel? And we got a lot of other topics, of course, related to the team in the offseason to discuss with our special guest, Mr. Alex Flum of DC Sports Now. So just stay tuned, and we're coming right up.
It's the Reedie and Z show. Reedie and Z show. It's the Reedie and Z show. Reedie and Z show. Reedie and Z show.
What's up? What's up? What's up? How y'all doing, fellas?
Good afternoon. How you doing, Alex?
What's up, guys? Great to be on with you.
No question. Thank you for coming on the show. We definitely appreciate your time with us, and we're gonna talk about our team. So we're gonna hop right into it. Big topic right now going around is the door open for Bobby Wagner? There was a message and a report came out. I saw it on Bleacher Report. I saw it in other places as well. But I think Cam was the one that was speaking with Dan Quinn. And Dan Quinn basically said, we will never shut the door on him, speaking of Bobby Wagner. We do feel like there are some players that are about to take off at his position. So kind of starting out, just at the top of the show, we getting right to it. Like, I was speaking on what I feel from when I hear this. What I feel and what I hear from this is that, of course, as he's been saying all season, Bobby is, is always the door's open for him. Just kind of like they kind of mentioned the door will potentially be open for Zach. Bobby being a leader in the locker room, being that general on the field, that extra coach, kind of leading the defense. So he played an intricate and important role with us. And they're, pretty much they're saying is that they feel like there are some other players that are about to take off as well. So it's like, okay, is the door open? But it sounds like what Dan is saying is that, yes, the door is open, but we got other things that we're trying to push as well. We got McGee, we got Chanel, we got other players that are right there in that position that could be up next. So by all means, we'll welcome him back, but it sounds like in a different role. So I wanted to ask you straight to it, Alex. How do you feel and what did you hear? What are you interpreting when you hear and see and read this?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing I hear is this team values Bobby Wagner so much. They know that he is a living legend. They know he's a future Hall of Famer. They know that he's still playing at a high level. You think about LeBron James, the NBA is late in his career, still playing at a high level. It's a little different with Bobby, but it's kind of a similar situation. He's still playing at an elite level. But at the end of the day, they want to give guys like Jordan McGee and a new guy they're bringing in like Leo Chenal the chance to get on the field and play. We didn't even get to see what Kane Medrano could really do last year. So I think what they really want to do is look at this situation and know that, okay, we have to do what we need to do to win, right? The goal of this team is to win a Super Bowl. It's unfortunately the goal isn't to make everybody happy and, to have the people you like the best on the field. The goal is to have the players that are going to thrive in certain situations and be able to lead them to a win in those situations and back to the playoffs. Last year is not the way the team wanted their season to go. So that being said, I think if Bobby Wagner wants to come in a rotational mentorship role where he's maybe on the field less than he was in the last couple seasons, I think that's what Dan Quinn is saying here, that, okay, we'd love to have Bobby Wagner back in terms of a role where he's still coming up, kind of like what Von Miller did last year when he was playing, right? Like, you're still a part of this team, you're still playing, you're still contributing, and also I think it makes sense with the mileage Bobby Wagner has on him. He probably could play another couple years as a rotational piece, but it's a question of, is Bobby Wagner willing to take on that role? Does he want to, at the end of his career here, be a backup, or does he want to retire at the level that he's at? Because I'll tell you this, he's got a lot going on. He's a part owner of the Seattle Storm and the WNBA. He has a lot of off the field charity work he's involved with. He has an organization and an efforts that he runs in honor of his late mom. So he's got a lot on his plate, but I think if he does retire and he's willing to come on as some sort of member of the coaching staff, I'm sure the Commanders wouldn't mind that. But also him and Jayden, they're very good buddies. And you know, I think part of this is Jayden probably wants him there in some capacity as well, as does the coaching staff. So I think there's a lot at play here. But I think they also want to treat him right while also doing everything they can to win.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. That's one of the things I've been saying the entire offseason, when the entire fan base kind of wants to, in a sense, turn their back on Bobby Wagner. But I mean, you cannot dispute the production: 162 total tackles, 4.5 sacks, 2 interceptions. I mean, granted, he isn't the young guy that he was, and he did struggle in coverage last year. So that's the thing. But I think he definitely helps you on first and second down, or like you said, it's going to sound crazy, in a diminished role for a guy that was still at the top of the league as it relates to tackles and, you know, things of that nature. The last 2 seasons, you know, he made was he a second team All Pro last year? Was that correct or no?
I think I think at least the season before.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So like, yeah, he can't cover, but I mean, you know, with Donte Jones coming in the scheme that we're anticipating him bringing, he can kind of hide him and get him out of being in those passing situations where he's either going forward or he's kind of just playing the run all the time. So I definitely think he is a guy that could come in to help mentor Kane Madrano. You know, you got Leo Chenal coming in. What happens with Frankie Louvu? You know what I'm saying? We've seen him in a downward year this year. Like, so I'm just curious to see like what this new defensive coordinator does with all of these pieces. And I'm a guy that I would never turn my back on Bobby Wagner, because I still think he's playing at an extremely high level. Mm-hmm. And I think he has a lot to give. Now, I don't know if he could play every down, but on at least first and second, I think he'll be quite much better than a Von Miller in his stage of his career at this point, just in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Anything you want to add to that, Alex?
No, I mean, I think I'm on the same page as Reedie here, and I also think that I think they really, at least last year, there was a lot of talk of them believing in Jordan McGee, and if you watched him in plays, you'd watch Bobby play. Yeah, Bobby's a tackling machine and a legend, but then Jordan would come on the field and he would recognize what was going on, and he's running around and he's learning like a sponge, and he would get better, you know, throughout the season. So I think they really see potential in Jordan as a guy that is kind of under the radar and could develop into that main piece there. And honestly, Jordan last year talked a lot about Bobby being a part of him learning and getting better. So I do think at the end of the day, it would be beneficial for at least one more year of Bobby Wagner in that locker room, contributing on the field and contributing behind the scenes too.
So now let me ask you this question. Like, this is something that we kind of went back and forth with as it relates to the young guys. I'm a firm believer in you can only put people on the field that you trust. If you don't if a coach doesn't trust a player, then I get the development piece. They have to develop. They have to get those they have to get those in-game reps. It's just not practice. But what reason do you think it was that we didn't see more from those young linebackers? And we've seen, you know, Bobby basically didn't come off the field. So everybody's seen it, like the press seen it. Everybody saw that he was lacking in pass coverage. But why didn't they make a move sooner to these young guys if they had such confidence in their abilities?
Well, that's a great question. I think there's a lot of questions about why didn't they do X, Y, and Z on the defensive side of the football. It was a rough season defensively in terms of Joe Witt being relieved of the play calling duties, Dan Quinn taking over. I think there was so much at play, so much they were focusing on. And from the get-go, they were trying to save the season. They were trying to turn things around. Really, basically, everything kind of went downhill after that Chargers game. You know, that was the win. And then everything kind of fell apart with the Chicago game and Dallas. And, you know, that defense really started to struggle. And I think they were at a point where they were like, if you can tackle, we're leaving you out there because we need tackles. And, I think just at the end of the day, they were trying to save the season. I think when you're winning games and you can afford to bring young guys in for more reps that maybe aren't totally ready yet, like 2 years ago in some situations, then they might do that. Like you think back to that Carolina game a couple of years ago when Jayden went down and Marcus came in, but they were still blowing them out. That's a game where defense can get extra reps. But I think when you are down and you're trying to come back, that's not a learning experience time. So I think that's the big reason we didn't see as much developmental stuff. But I think the good thing is Donte Jones is going to be really focused on that in terms of his defense. And hopefully that'll be kind of the turn of the page, kind of putting that whole Joe Witt situation behind them and letting Donte build this defense the way he wants.
Yeah, and you see it already with the caliber and the style of players that we're getting. They started the offseason talking about getting younger, faster, more athletic, and that's pretty much what they did. From Oway to Chason, you of course with Amik Robinson, a guy what they're saying is gritty, Chanel, what they're saying all over the field, Nick Cross. So we've made key moves, definitely in needed spots. It definitely feels good to address the defense and your holes via free agency aggressively. So by the time you get to the draft, you're not trying to fill gaps with inexperienced guys. You kind of have, guys in place that they can kind of come up under and mold under. But also if you get into a situation where, BPA and you get a game changer, like you can still make that move because you're not so desperate with these big holes. So that's another key part of it as well. And I do think that with the energy and excitement from Donte, I think it's going to spill over with the players as well. I really kind of envision this defense with guys that just going to be flying all over the field, in situations where, maybe if the first guy misses a tackle or, not able to bring him down fully, you have the rest of the crew coming and, playing cleanup. So, kind of get back to, I forget what defensive coordinator it was, but at one point we were great in that area where a few years ago where, guys would be held up and the next guy come run or knock the ball out, kind of, things you see other defenses do that we just haven't done here in quite a while. So I'm excited and looking forward to, that aspect of it as well.
Yeah, I think part of the Jack Del Rio time, it was a little bit like that, but I really think you'd have to go back to Greg Williams for the last time this defense played at the level it should be playing at in terms of generating turnovers and pressure. And I mean, I think a lot of that goes back to Sean Taylor, because it's really feels like it's been since then that this franchise really had a defense that was elite, like they've had good defenses, but it seems like I really think it's been a couple decades since they've had the defense that they should have.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, speaking of that, Donte Jones comes from a long lineage of, his coaching tree. He's expected to come in here and immediately change this defense into, what we're looking for, what Joe Witt wasn't able to do in his tenure here. So, like, what's the feeling around the building? I know the players kind of been in and out. Some might be there, doing, treatment or things or whatever. But from your perspective, being in the building, like, what has the buzz been around the new defensive coordinator thus far?
Well, I think people are super excited about him. It's not why they brought him in, but he's from here. He went to Bishop McNamara. He's a local guy. Like, he grew up rooting for the team. He told me that his mom let him stay up to watch the Super Bowl against the Broncos and watch Doug Williams win. And he said that's like a core memory for him growing up. So he knows what it means to turn this team into a winner. And I think the team feels that. I think these guys are excited to play for him. They want to play for him. He has really good influence in this league, working under Brian Flores. He's worked under Mike Zimmer. He's been influenced by Vic Fangio. So there's some really good defensive minds that have molded him. And I think what the players are going to really like about him is he doesn't have like one like locked in system you have to stick to. Like he made it clear, like we're going to be 3-4, we're going to be 4-3, right? Like we're going to play man, we're going to play zone. Like he is not going to box these guys in. He's going to want to put these guys in every situation where they're going to be able to succeed. And I think that brings you back to the Bobby Wagner thing. Like of course, like Bobby could come back and Durante could have a good role for him. I think he's going to do what he needs to do to generate pressure. And I think this is a great opportunity for him and a great opportunity for the players that are here. And I mean, the guys they've brought in, the new guys on the defensive side, they certainly seem very excited to play for him. And he seems to have played a role in them wanting to come here. So I think this is a guy Commanders fans should be excited about.
Yeah, definitely. And like that part about him talking about how he's going to have like evals on each individual player and kind of sit with them and talk about and try to evaluate and pin in on what they do best to put them in the best position. I think that's going to be tremendous. And it came out today. I think it was a question at the league meetings. Someone asked Dan Quinn about Donte Jones, and he basically said the one thing that stood out to him the most is his teaching. And to me, again, it just kind of goes back to you got to watch, you got to really pay attention to what is being said when it's said, because like if you ask Dan Quinn what stood out and he emphasizes teaching, then clearly there was a teaching issue with the previous guy. It's almost blatant that he's saying that. So a lot of times we looked at, Jill Witt came in and he started talking rah, we're going to arrive violent, we're going to knock guys off, yada, yada, yada. But can you teach it? And that's like one of the biggest things, especially I feel like too, I used to work in management and whatnot and overseeing and just kind of training and things like that, things of that nature. And it's like when we came up, it was a little bit different. You kind of had to, they would teach you, but you kind of had to learn it on your own a lot. Whereas like I began to struggle with development of, employees like kind of towards the back end because I was so focused on, well, I had to learn it the hard way. You go learn it the hard way. I need you to study this and do this, this and that. Whereas like a lot of times with this generation, and as we continue, you got to be more hands-on. You got to be able to adapt. You got to relate to people in order. You got to add all those extra variables in teaching. It's just not go do what I say because I said it. Those days are gone. So you have to really dig in and hone in, and for each individual person. So I'm excited to see, the outcome of that. But like I said, that part that Dan talked about teaching very much stood out to me for sure. So yeah. But then
we had I was going to say we had someone on the show that played for Donte Jones back when he was at Bowie State, and my takeaway from his introductory presser was everything that he told us in this interview about, learning guys' specific learning styles, how guys learn, and tailoring everything towards how they learn. And also, like you mentioned, like there's not going to be a specific 3-4, 4-3, 5-2. You know what I'm saying? Different. It's a gamut of defenses that we can mention that it's not going to be. One of the key takeaways for me was when he said it's not where we line up, it's where we finish. Like that told me that it's going to be crazy, like the disguising and the things of that nature, like just trying to confuse quarterbacks to give you that extra time for the pass rush to get there and for the defensive backs to be in tune with each level of the defense. Like that just spoke volumes to me. And I just wanted to just add that, like, this guy seems like he's going to be a great defensive coordinator. I'm hoping it's immediately this year. I don't want any because I don't think if it doesn't go well this year, I think they're probably going to break it up. But I from what I'm hearing thus far, I just think that it's going to be night and day from what we've seen the last 3 or 4 years.
Well, we remember that Minnesota game last year. If the way they play this year is anything close to that, I think people will be happy.
Definitely. So yeah, the next question. Let me bring this up real quick. Ben Standig put out a report, and he's talking about, and this is about Deebo Samuel. So Ben Standig said, that's the only reason why I have the door open for Deebo at all. It's the unknowns about these guys in the slot, meaning the current guys on the roster in the wide receiver room. Other than that, I am out on Deebo. Whatever money they would spend to bring him in, put it towards a center or something else. Samuel was projected by Sports Track to get around $15 million per season on his next deal. That doesn't seem likely at this stage of the all season because we're approaching coming up on a month in. And he still hasn't been signed, hasn't really been linked or rumored to many different teams. And they're basically saying that the player may not mind taking a little less to land on a playoff contender. The Commanders represented that last year, but that may no longer be the case. So it's kind of like, in a sense, is the door still open for Deebo? Like we have a situation where the wide receiver room hasn't really played out ideally the way we thought it may be kind of going into the off season. As of right now, we still have Terry. There's no true number two. You have Diami, Luke, Van Jefferson, Jalen Lane, Burks, to name a few. They said we swung high on Alec Pierce. We swung on Romeo Dobbs, two guys that are clearly lined up to be that number two, potentially to push to be number one in a few years or whatnot. So there's still a big hole, a big gap there in the wide receiver room. A lot of people in the fan base and even us look at it like, well, what about Deebo? And we're on record, supporting a Deebo reunion, but at the right price. And we're at that point where it's like, okay, we're sure the price should be right at this point. I don't think Deebo's still seeking 15, 20 million, at this point of free agency. So it's like, do you see a scenario where, Deebo is back? He was productive last year, over 70 some receptions. We all know that, he had to come in and turn around and be the number one guy when Terry went down and kind of hold the fort down. And Deebo wasn't able to be used the way they originally planned. And I believe I heard something where Dan Quinn spoke about like that was an opportunity that was missed last year. So I'm sure there is some interest, but it's like, do you see a scenario where Deebo's back, or like would you want Deebo back in this system? Because I know it's a system change as well. So like, how are you feeling around Deebo?
Well, I think just like you were mentioning, Z, like we really didn't get to see Deebo and Terry together on the field like much at all. Like we never really got to see the vision of that offense with Jayden and the two of them all together and the way this team wanted it to be. And I think my big question that I don't know the answer to is, does Deebo want to be here? Like I don't know if Deebo wants to be here, like it was hard to get a read on that throughout the season. Obviously the way the season was rough, like Deebo's used to winning in his career at a lot of points and there wasn't a lot of winning. And I don't think he liked that. But I think they do desperately need to have a guy that's the number two receiver. I think Treylon Burks is great. I think he's got potential. Diami coming back, he's got potential. Luke looked really good at points. But I don't know if any of those guys are a true number two. They all feel like a true number three at their best. But I don't know if they can step up and be that number two. So I think that Deebo would be that guy, but I think you just have to see, are you going to look into a Brandon Aiyuk, right? Are you going to draft someone? And if they don't believe that Deebo is going to get signed before the draft, I think you can afford to wait until after the draft to decide what to do about Deebo. But personally, I think I'd like to see them get a little younger at that position. Like Alec Pierce would have been a great situation, but unfortunately they got out, weren't able to win the bidding process there. But I think I think that when it comes down to it, they do have to leave the door open for Deebo because you want to win this year. And all that being said, I think right now, if you go into this season, Okonkwo is the second option in the passing game, right? So, but I think they do need another star piece on offense.
Yeah, I think for most of the offseason, we've kind of been saying that if we did sign Deebo, we definitely would need another wide receiver, like another true number 2. I think Deebo is more so, this is kind of my vision in the offseason was I'm a big guy. I think I was the first person in the fan base to say we need to draft Jeremiah Love. They talked about me crazy, and then all of a sudden the narrative is now changing and people are saying, oh, well, maybe we need to go get Jeremiah Love. So my thinking behind that was you pair Terry McLaurin with a Jeremiah Love, and then you have Bill also in the backfield. Then I was saying you either go get Chig or you go get Kyle Pitts or you go get Isaiah Likely. You put them at the tight end position. I wanted Pierce, but Pierce, he didn't decide to sign here. And I'm just looking at it from that perspective of if we get a receiver and we get Love, that takes care of the whole offensive side of the ball. And I think we have enough firepower with the guys that they're bringing back in what we've seen from Luke McCaffrey, a Treylon Burks, a Van Jefferson, De'Ami Brown, whomever, to kind of be competitive in this league. Because if you look across the league at all of the different teams that are there, these high-powered offenses, they have 3, 4, 5, 6 weapons that can come in, interchange, and they can keep on ticking. So like that was just like my thing for that. But with us needing a number 2, did you think that if Deebo comes back, he'll fall into that position? Or a Malachi Lemon or a Malachi Lemon or one of the wide receivers that are at the top of the draft, if we decide to go that route in the draft, is a better option?
I think he might have to fall into the number 2, but I think like you guys are saying, like Deebo would be a good number 3, but like I was saying, there's all these other guys. It kind of comes back to that linebacker conversation. Like there's all these other young guys that are like ready for the opportunity, like to be the number 3. So that's why I think at the end of the day, it makes sense to bring someone else in as that number 2. But like you were saying, and I know we're going to talk draft, but like Jeremiah Love, like I think that would solve a lot on the offense for sure. But is he going to be there at 7? That's a question that I have.
Now, are you in or are you out on the Aiyuk situation? Because I'm kind of a little skeptical. Z is a guy that he's been pounding the table saying that Aiyuk to DC is a lock, pretty much it's a done deal. Soon as he's released from San Francisco, whenever they decide to let him go,
that happens.
It's post June 1. Like you can't go into OTAs and to mini camp and training camp with that lingering. Oh, when are they going to release him? You got to make a move. So, like, how confident are you in the Aiyuk situation?
I've seen this as like Jayden wants him here for sure. That's the sense I get. The team would like him here, but the question is, one, how is he physically? Like when you're not consistently playing for all this time, that changes things, and it's not easy to come right back and plug right in, just like the Brandon Aiyuk that we remember. And is he going to come in here and is he going to be a team guy, right? Like teams don't want to bring in a guy that's going to come in and make it all about themselves and be a distraction and cause some issues, whether that's in the locker room, even if they're really minimal. And like I said before, I think at the end of the day, this team wants to win. This organization, the players, the coaches, the front office, if they believe that Brandon Aiyuk is going to present them with the best chance to win, then I think he's going to be here. So I think at the end of the day, if I had to go one way or the other, I think we don't see Aiyuk or Deebo here. I think neither. I think Aiyuk doesn't come and Deebo doesn't come back. That's my guess. But I could easily see one of them being here when we get to August.
Yeah. And speaking of that too, hold on. Oh yeah, I'm not on me. Speaking of that, this came out earlier today, where Diana Rossini was talking to Kyle Shanahan, and she tweeted, Kyle Shanahan said the team hopes the team can get something in return for Aiyuk. He said he's not sure when that might take place. I know we're in no rush to do it. So once again, at these league meetings, they're continue pushing the narrative that they're not in a rush. They're doubling down on their situation where they're going to hold them until, and they're trying to squeeze, a pick out of it. I don't see a scenario where we trade for Aiyuk. I actually don't see a scenario where anybody in the NFL trades for Aiyuk and takes on that contract, because one, the player's commitment, to that. He already, he was 1 year in, not even a whole year into all that money, and we saw what happened. So if he walked away from all that money, imagine, he could definitely walk away from the remaining in a bad situation. And I mean, and he's pushing to be released to come to a team to make even less. So money is clearly not, atop of his list. And I think that, like I said, unless they just stash him on one of those unable to perform player lists or something like that for a whole season, I would be shocked if they do that. But if they did do it, then yeah, he's not, he won't be here next year. But if he is released, I still stand on that. I don't see him going to any other team but us, no matter what other teams offer him. That's just, my thoughts.
I think if he's released, but I think if they would probably sit him down and make sure he really, wants to be here, wants to be a part of what they're trying to build. But, I agree with you. I don't think they're going to give up a pick for him, because this team can't really afford to give up picks right now.
Yeah, definitely.
At least for this year.
Yeah, and I don't think it makes sense. I mean, even though the voids, I don't know the true language of the contract, but it doesn't even make sense to take on that deal, the remaining of the deal, if there is anything out there to take on. I mean, because obviously it has to be a 1 year prove it kind of situation scenario. Like, we got to see are you going to come in here? Are you going to be on your best behavior? Like, I could care less that you are best friends with Jayden Daniels. That doesn't mean that you're going to be happy with the situation with the coaching staff or whatever. It could be anything. You know what I mean? You kind of like have shown us, yeah, we've seen the on-field production, but that was two, 3 years ago. Like, you've been out a year and a half. So it's like, it's kind of like a lot to kind of take on from a organizational standpoint. And I just don't see any organization willing to take that on.
Yeah, definitely agree. So my next question before we move into draft talk, there was also a report today that came out that they were asked Dan Quinn in reference to the Biada situation, and Dan Quinn mentioned that the team did not explore trading Tyler Biadasz. What's your thoughts on that? Why would that even, why wouldn't you dangle him for the 6th or 7th if you know you're going to cut him anyway?
Yeah, I'm surprised to hear that information. I think I saw Nikki had reported that, and I'm kind of lost for words with it. Fan base a lot of the time says they trust in Adam Peters, and Adam Peters in a lot of situations makes the right move. But getting nothing for Biadasz, I don't think that was the right move. I mean, this is a good player, right? I mean, maybe he doesn't fit into exactly how David Blau wants this offense to look. But he went out and signed a massive contract out west. So I think it's a big missed opportunity. I was just saying a few minutes ago that this team can't afford to trade picks. This team really could have used an extra pick. Like, if you could have gotten a 6th for him, that would have been great, because that 6th could be a trade up to a 5th, and it could turn into a player that is a rotational piece. You could get a center at that point in the draft if there is one. So it's odd to me. It's, I think, the biggest thing this offseason that has me scratching my head. Like, what exactly were they thinking there? And I'm sure they're not happy that they didn't get anything for him. But, I think they believe in their situation at center, right? Like, they expect Allegretti to be able to step into that role right now. I mean, maybe even see if Brandon Coleman gets a look at center. So I think they're going to see what happens, but I wouldn't be shocked if they draft a center too.
Yeah.
So I guess we just transition straight into the draft. Like, what are your thoughts? Like at the top of the draft, I feel like there's blue chip players within the top 10, top 12, 13 picks. So I feel like, Jeremiah Love has been a guy that I've been on record saying that I wanted. He's just that good to me. I just feel like he could take it anywhere on the field, from the 1 yard, taking it 99. Like, he can catch it out of the backfield. He can flat out do it. And I just think, like, you got Jayden Daniels on a rookie deal. You have to surround him with weapons to be successful. You cannot put it all on Jayden Daniels to do it on his own. I get the need that was at defense at one point, but I just think that the guys in the draft, based off of my research and who I think is going to be there, won't be there. And I think the only guy that I take over him defensively is Averill Reese out of Ohio State. I don't think these other pass rushers are like generational. The last time we took Chase Young at number 2 under the Ron Rivera regime, and we thought he was generational and he didn't pan out. So I do think it's a risk taking a running back that high, but like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, where do you see us going if he is on the board at that? Do we take him or do we go elsewhere?
I think if Jeremiah Love is on the board, this team is not passing on him. I think, like we're saying, he has the feeling of a generational talent. And you think about just how much better a really good star running back can make a quarterback, right? Like, I think of Lamar and Derrick Henry, like the way they play together. I even think, I'll pull this one out for you, 2012, like RG3 and Alfred Morris. Like, Alfred Morris was so good, it allowed RG3 to do the things they wanted to do with him. So, I mean, I think Jeremiah Love, not only would he come in and give his production, but he would make Jayden better. He would allow these other receivers to step up and open up that offense. And David Blau has a lot of influence from what that Detroit offense looked like, right? And you think back, they've always had 2 running backs that have been really good, right? Like, whether it's, Jahmyr Gibbs in there or whoever else, even DeAndre Swift, when he was there, was kind of part of a tandem. So, I think they would be able to bring Jeremiah Love in and not put all the pressure on him. I think a lot of people would draft him in fantasy football and be disappointed when he's not getting all the carries. But, I think from a team perspective, I just think Love would make a lot of sense. And I think it would be really hard for them to pass on him. After that, I think Carnell Tate could make sense if Love is not there. But I do think that right now they probably want to go the offensive route.
Yeah. And Reedie's on board with let me take that back. Reedie is on record saying that Tate isn't really standing out to him. Either the pro day, he felt like it was a little lackadaisical, in a sense, in the grand scheme of things. It just didn't seem like he was given a lot of energy and that, pressing down on, kind of trying to show and prove himself. And we also have one of our top supporters, Asia. She's been screaming lemon over Tate for the longest. She actually just commented it, but she's been saying that she, like, if you draft Tate, if you're looking at Tate, why wouldn't you look at Lemon? Lemon has shown on tape what he can do. So, like, in that situation, like, what do you think about Lemon and Tate, like, in a comparison? Or, I mean, I kind of like Tyson's ability, but the injuries scare me. So I don't know, like, maybe a trade down scenario, we can maybe still snatch Tyson and take a chance. I don't know, but the injuries definitely do scare me there. So I'm kind of like, it's a toss up right now between Tate and Lemon for me, but I wanted to see what's your thoughts on that comparison.
Well, I like Tate because, I think about how you have Terry and what he's able to do in the red zone and what he's able to do in, like, like jump for the catch situations, making big plays. I like Tate's ability in terms of that. And like, if you think about it, like as much as we all love Terry, as good as he is, we don't know at what point does Terry start to regress, right? I'm not saying it's going to happen right now. I don't think it is. But like Terry is 30, right? Like Terry's not going to be here at the level he's been at the last several years forever. And I think if you wanted an heir apparent to Terry McLaurin, to put a guy in a position to learn from Terry for a few years and then be the guy going forward, Carnell Tate from Ohio State, 6'2", able to be a red zone threat. I see him in that role a little bit more than I see from Makai Lemon. And the same thing how you mentioned Tyson. Like I think Tate has more of that potential to be a star in this league than the others. I think Lemon would be great, but I just think it makes sense to me to bring Tate into this offense. But all that being said, I'm still on board with Jeremiah Love. I still think that's the top choice, honestly. But for me, I think Tate's a pretty clear number 2. However, I pose this. If Love is off the board, if Tate is off the board, and you think you can trade down and get one of those other receivers and accumulate other picks, I think that makes a lot of sense. And here's a name I think to watch out for. We talked about the offense, but Mansour Delaney.
Yeah.
They didn't even throw his way at LSU. Like, think about how the team missed out on drafting Christian Gonzalez and went with Forbes. Like, this seems like maybe they could rectify that and get a lockdown corner. Because as much as they tried to build up this defense, I am still worried about the cornerbacks. Like I think Amos is good. I think he's got a ton of potential. I think Sanders still, if they can figure out to put him in the right position, just because last year wasn't ideal for him. Obviously, the Lattimore situation didn't work out. But I think if you come out of the draft with a guy like Delaney and you accumulate more picks where you can get a receiver in the second round, maybe, right? Like, I think that could make sense in that situation.
Yeah, I agree. I'm trying to talk myself into, and Z says I'm basically lying. I don't really feel like this. I'm trying to talk myself into a trade down situation. Like, I feel like if, like, with those players we mentioned, the Carnell Tate, given the injury concerns with Jordan Tyson and Makai Lemon, I see us kind of trading down. Like, if Sonny Styles is off the board, Averill Reese is off the board, Jeremiah Love is off the board, obviously Fernando Mendoza is going to be off the board. Like, those guys, like, for me, if they're off the board, then I see us in a trade down situation. And I could see that because Mansour is definitely high on my board. The corner, he's definitely high on my board. I just can't decide where the value is right. You know what I mean? But given that there's not a lot of quarterbacks in this draft, the trade down scenario kind of doesn't work a little bit. Because teams are kind of going to be in these situations like, well, we could sit here and still get a blue chip player. Like, so I don't know if that's going to be that mindset, or what do we do if we get in a situation where if Jeremiah Love is gone, who do you take? Like, you know what I mean? But I am on record saying that, like, I would love to get in that situation where we can trade down and accumulate a second round pick, because I feel like that really kind of messes us up in this draft, not having that second round pick. We only have 5 picks in this draft. And I think if we had a second round pick or more, that would have been better, because you can kind of get a steal at the top of the next round, or, like everybody's been saying. So, like, for me, that's tough, but I just don't know, like, at what value, at like what point do you go back? They have that whole, I forget who's Jimmy Johnson's system of figuring out the value of picks and all of that. But it's just like, that just gives me pause. It's just like, damn, where do we go? Like, if the players that we want are not on the board, because I think the fan base is going to be crazy if one of these players is there and they just pass and trade back in that scenario.
Yeah, I don't see a way that Jeremiah Love is there and they don't take him. I just strongly believe that. But I don't know if he's going to make it that far. I think somebody might trade up.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. I've definitely been toying with that thought, man.
But I also said weeks ago, if somebody's willing to come up to 7 to take him, if the price is right, I would trade back. It's fine. I mean, depending on what
price though.
If you get a lot in that deal, it would have
Hall,
to be.
if they offering a Hall, yeah, all right, cool. I guess I just gotta live with it. But I mean, next year's first, and to move back 8 spots of next year first, I don't think I'd take that pick. I don't think I'd take that trade.
And if you move down to 15 and got a first next year,
if you move down 8 spots and get a first next year, that's not enough for me. I need like an RG3 type trade. That's how locked in I am. If he's on the board, like if he's sitting on the board, I need an RG3 type trade because it's like I know I want to press this button. What are you going to offer me to stop from putting this card in that it's Jeremiah Love? Like a first next year is just not enough for me.
I'd have to think about it. I probably would need first next year, third this year, and down to 15, or maybe down to 13.
I think 15.
I think that I would make that deal.
You give me a first and you give me a first.
I would take Love.
You give me a first and a second. Come on up. Come on up. First next year, second this year. Come on up.
Yeah,
and like a late round pick that we can pick swap somewhere to kind of maneuver somewhere else.
So what window though? Because you can't trade that with anybody. If you're talking,
I said no later than 14, 15 for me.
So you got to estimate, like a team that next year probably will be in that middle of the pack, because if you talk to somebody that's going to be playoff bound or Super Bowl contenders, then you basically getting a second.
But like, who are you gonna trade down with is the thing, right? I'm looking at the picks now, like the Dolphins.
Yeah, the Dolphins stand up.
You're not making that trade with the Cowboys at 12.
Right.
You don't want to send Jeremiah Love to the Rams. The Ravens, I don't think the Ravens would make this deal. Tampa at 15, maybe.
Dallas, oh my God.
No. You're not sending Jeremiah Love to Dallas.
You're not. And I just hope they don't trade up.
Yeah.
Snatch him. Like Jayden Jones he's just that'll piss me off. So I'm serious.
Here's the thing. I think the Titans should take him at 4. I don't know if they will.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
they might take an offensive lineman.
That was the biggest thing that kind of stood out when we were kind of breaking it down, was like, all right, maybe the Titans. I was thinking maybe the Cardinals. The Cardinals kind of I think they brought back Connor, or they went and got a running back. Mm-hmm. The Titans still kind of questionable there at the running back spot, but they have so many other needs. It's like I am still worried on them. The Giants sitting at 5 is a little worry as well, because I mean it's Harbaugh. Scatterable was not his guy. Harbaugh loves to run the ball. They said he had a hell of a visit in New York, and all that hype kind of came around there. Then Schefter comes out. I don't see the Titans. I don't see the Giants either. Why he comes up with that in his mind, or why he reported that, I don't know. I hope there's some truth to it, because now you're kind of giving us hope again. And it's just like, man, but it's draft time. That's what it is. You get jitters, you get nervous, anxiety, all those things from all the possibilities. I just, again, hope that he lands to us and we'll be good to go. And we can just figure everything else out from there.
Real quick, I'll give you a name for later in the draft I'm keeping my eyes on. Elijah Surratt from Indiana. Like, this is a guy that was at JMU with Curt Cignetti, went to Indiana with Curt Cignetti, is not being talked about as a top pick in the draft, but I think this is a guy that is under the radar. Like, whoever takes him day 2 or 3, like, I think is going to be happy with it. I don't know if he's going to be a superstar, but like this guy, like, to me, feels like Mike Evans, like, vibes, like could develop into something like that one day. So I'm just saying, if you don't take a receiver early on, like, there's still guys later in the draft that, like, Terry wasn't a first round pick, like, that you can find a guy day 2 or even day 3.
Yeah, I was going to say, in that trade down scenario, like, if you go back, however many spots, and you're able to accumulate a second round pick or something like that, you could kind of take a Mansour right there in the top 15, and then come back and, you got Zachariah Brand, Surratt. You got many names of guys that are going to fall in like that second round window that could come in and can contribute. May not necessarily be a day 1, but they definitely can contribute and be better and make this receiver room better across the board. I think, but I think we have kind of set ourselves up for success with the running backs that we brought in to kind of like be a room that can they can survive if we don't get a Jeremiah Love.
Right.
So
right.
like,
But they are all on 1-year deals.
correct.
That's my thing is like there needs to be a plan long term, you know.
Yeah,
Correct.
facts.
But going back to, I would just want to real quick. I know we're short on time, but I want to go back to your Carnell Tate evaluation. So you don't think that Jeremiah Smith kind of contributed and kind of helped Tate out a little bit, where he was able to, get some of that one-on-one coverage and things of that nature?
I mean, I think he did, but I think Terry would help in that, like imagine if you had that duo, right? Another Ohio State duo, just several years apart. But I think Tate definitely benefited from that. But I don't know. I would see him as fit. But again, like he's not my top choice for them. I still say Jeremiah Love is my top choice. And honestly, Delane is probably like trade back and get Delane is probably my second option for them.
We're on the same page, Alex. We're
thinking
alike, because everything you said is everything that I've been saying. So
yeah,
same page. I like that, man. But man, we just want to say thank you for coming on the show. It was a pleasure. We see you a lot out at about to say FedEx Field, at Northwest Stadium. A lot. We seen you on the sideline one time, and we kind of like introduced ourselves to you. And ever since then, we kind of wanted to get you on the show. We love what you're doing and continue to keep up the good work. And we definitely would like to have you come back, maybe training camp time.
Yeah,
talk a little bit more based off of what we're able to get in the draft and whatever other free agents come in as we move forward.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. It's been a pleasure. Awesome setup here. Great pod. And anytime.
Thanks, Alex. We appreciate you, brother.
All right. See you guys.
All right, enjoy your day.
Thank you. You too.
Shout out to I Am Black Mall for the super chat. We greatly appreciate the love, brother. J Love is the best player in the draft. However, Sonny Styles to me is Luke Kuechly or Pat Willis 2.0. Love is great, but we can get a good running back in later rounds. Go ahead, Reedie. You a linebacker, running back guy. You those positions and played it.
I'm not gonna come off Jeremiah Love, but I don't say I disagree with what he's saying. Yeah. I like Sonny Styles. I just think Jeremiah Love is that much better. And I do think there are a lot of running backs in this draft that you can get in later rounds, just like there's receivers that you can get in later rounds. But if I got a chance to get a blue chip player, and if it's up to me, I'm taking a blue chip player every time, because if we get what we want, we're going to be drafting at the back of the draft. Like the odds of us getting a blue chip player, we're waiting for somebody to slip and fall and all of that. Like, I don't want to be in that situation. We need to get dogs, bring in every dog we could bring in here to help us win now. I'm not trying to win next year or the year after. I'm trying to win this year. So surround us with whomever that we can get, Now, Sonny Styles is a dog, but I think there's levels of dogs, and Jeremiah Love for me is more of a
dog.
Yeah, than him. But don't get me wrong, Styles is a dog.
Yeah, and for me too, I think Styles definitely is a dog, and I think his combine just shows his athletic ability, freak of nature, on the defensive side of the ball. The biggest thing for me, though, is I continue to say, if it came down to a situation where you got to decide between the two, I think that I would go with Love for his ability to change the game and generate points. Like when you touch the ball, looking back at his tape, there's multiple times he took runs for 80 and 90 yards on multiple occasions. Like he's a threat with the ball in his hand at any given moment and anywhere on the field. He's a threat out of the backfield in the passing game as well. So it's just like he's just too dynamic to pass up in that situation. And again, it's not a slout on Styles. Styles is going to be a beast, I believe. Yes. It's just that what Styles contributes, all right, if Styles go pick up a fumble or catch an interception and he's not scoring, then you got to rely on the next person with offense to go out and, push forward and make that effort a success. Whereas you get a ball to Jeremiah Love, he can do it himself. So
He can take it, and that's
yeah,
6 anywhere. He in the run game and the pass game. So that's where we differentiate in our opinions. Like Sonny Styles is a blue chip player, no doubt about it. Now, if Jeremiah Love wasn't on the board, Sonny Styles, he's there. Sonny Styles all day. I'm not disputing that, but I just think if Jeremiah Love is on the board, you take Jeremiah Love. Sonny Style, whoever. Yeah. See, my bad, dog, but hey, it's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like Jeremiah Love is that fucking good to me, and what I've seen. Yeah, I know how Z was last year for Bill when he watched them 7 highlights. Like, nah, I'm messing with you, bro. Nah, but when I look at Jeremiah, like all football season since Jeremiah Love was a freshman, they've been talking about him. The kids that I coach, that's all they talk about. Jeremiah Love, NCAA, they want to get Jeremiah Love to spam with Jeremiah Love. So I've been on the Jeremiah Love, like watching him over the years, and I was just like, I don't know. But when you look at that tape and what he does, give me that. Give me that with everybody else. And I think him will make everybody else better. That much better. Just me. Shout out my man, Futuristic Willie. Futuristic Willie. My bad, bro. Give Reedie weapons. I need them at all costs. Facts.
Weapons. So real quick, one quick topic we can kind of go over. Great points. I don't agree with y'all. Anything y'all say, I just don't value running backs as high as much. I would never draft running back in the top 10. Remember, yeah. But if you, so you wouldn't have drafted Bijan Robinson. Like Bijan Robinson is a dog.
You wouldn't have drafted Saquon.
Yeah, like
you drafted McCaffrey.
These are dogs, and I think Love is of those stature. He's in that. He has the potential to get in amongst that group.
I understand because last year, Ashton Genty, everybody was on that train, and then the season didn't go.
I mean, the Raiders are buns though. Yeah, at quarterback. They were saying Pete Carroll ain't really know what he was doing. You see how quick they got him out of there, so you got to really wait to see.
I mean, I'm just saying, like I get this, but what do I say all the time? This league is about what have you done for me lately? So I thought that Genty came along as this year went on, but they thought he was just going to be out the gate. You know what I'm saying? Just housing shit. And it was a slow process for him. I thought he salvaged his season. He had a pretty good year for a rookie running back. But so I get that recency bias or whatever, with value in running backs and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But go ahead, Z, what you got?
So yeah. Today, the notes, league meetings, NFL league meetings going on in Arizona. Every owner, GM, head coach are in Arizona right now. They're going to talk about rule changes potentially. I heard they talking about situation with the refs. They were talking about like potentially, I think the refs might be going on strike or something. So along that nature. So everything, of course, with the league meetings going on, but they also interview the head coaches, and they interviewed Dan Quinn today, and just some key notes to kind of go back over from his interview. And they started out, they asked him about AP prioritizing the edge position. And pretty much he said, amen, he delivered. So, Dan Quinn is super excited about what we were able to bring in the room there. Where we end up signing 3 edges, Owe, Chason, and then the guy was Omenu from the Chiefs. Dan Quinn loves Chig's speed. This one surprised me though. They asked him, who could take a leap, and he mentioned Lawrence Cager. Lawrence Cager is the tight end. He was actually bouncing around like the practice squad on and off the roster. We saw him in camp. He has size and speed. He made a few catches in training camp last year. Didn't really, do nothing spectacular, but you could see that he was athletic. So it's interesting to see, as we move into this loud style offense, if the more athletic tight ends are, getting more opportunities in that. So that's something to watch there. Um, we already talked about the team not exploring the trade for Biotis. No decision has been made yet on who will wear the green dot. Will be someone involved in most packages at linebacker and safety. I believe that was Bobby last year.
Mhm.
Um, Playing at center as of now is competition between Good Jones and Allegretti. If you ask me, I think we need to address that ASAP. Team will likely line up Mikey Sanders and Amik Robinson on the outside and inside during OTAs. Again, Donte Jones talked about, it's not about where you line up, it's where you wind up. And we talk about position versatility and whatnot. So expect to see, guys all over the field in different positions. So those were some key notes from it today. But also, there was a clip, and I didn't watch it in full, but they asked Dan about a player who expects to have like a breakout year, and he named Johnny Newton. Shocked me.
Why did it shock you, Z? Talk about it.
I mean, I just say it shocked me because I was thinking more of the lines of like, all right, well, you got Payne already. You went and got settled. We already got Kinlaw. So I'm already thinking like Johnny Newton is going to fizzle down the down the depth chart, and it didn't really kind of see where he may fit, or like he may just have to go out and ball out in order to still be. I was labeling him as a potential trade candidate. Um, so I don't know, but overall, it shocked me to see him because it's like, damn, that room is already crowded now. You're saying you expect big things out of him? Like, is this just a promotion to get it out there so other teams can get his eyes on him, or do you really believe that? And I mean, up to this part, a lot of people can argue Johnny Newton has not, um, you know, has not lived up to the second round pick that he was when we drafted him. So I know he came in with injury and he had some flashes, but he just hasn't really done enough. So that's why I was shocked to see him name Johnny Newton. But hey, we'll see. And this keep coming up. Shout out Biggie Steve 6973. Thank you for the super chat, brother. We greatly appreciate you. I would entertain Odell Beckham Jr. coming in for $3 million. Normally Z would be with this type stuff. And trust me, when Odell caught that one-handed catch, I definitely was thinking like about the what ifs. And then after that, you start seeing all these posts the next day and Jayden laughing. And Odell said something to make Jayden crack up laugh, and they got the still picture of that, of course, with the catch. So I think it'll be cute. It'll be catchy. I just don't know if it's gonna like really, really work out. Like I at this point, I think Odell is more of an underneath guy. I don't see him burning past nobody. Like I don't know. I just don't really see where he would fit with what we already. I mean, we don't have a whole lot in that room, but that's what still expecting the IU situation or potentially drafting a wide receiver. So if we do one of those two or both with the moves that we already made, where is he going to fit? So that's just my 2 cents on it.
I could see a scenario if you go back and you get a Deebo and then you bring in a Beckham. I can see a scenario like that. But if you go get Aiyuk, then no. I agree with you. I don't think that he's going to, be able to push the ball down the field to a OBJ. I don't think he has that speed that he has. I do think he can still route some people up. I think he's going to be more of your intermediate to short type of receiver. Also, I think he's a guy that you can kind of, throw a jump ball to in the end zone, in the red zone, fades and stuff like that, dragging along the back of the end zone, stuff like that. I mean, I think he can help you, but I don't know what the production is and am I really willing to let go one of these other receivers to bring him in? Yeah, he's a big name, but I don't know.
Yeah. Shout out to Biggie Steve for the double up. We greatly appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
I would use him for red zone, getting 5 to 10 attempts a game. That's what you was basically kind of saying, using him in the red zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but is he winning jump balls? I mean, I know that was flag football. Like,
Yeah, I was over some rookies, man.
remember
I, mean, I ain't diminishing them; they could play.
Remember how we used to say, like, you could be a passing league god, but you get that equipment on, it's something totally different. And I know what he done years ago. I just don't know. Ain't he been out the league? I don't know. Yeah. But he did look a little bit more swifty than I thought he would. So,
I am Black Moss said Odell is washed. We already got Trey Line, who was supposed to be, that's the revival story. Two at the same position. He's saying won't need no more Cinderellas, basically. No, make a wish, bring nobody back, hope on a prayer that they're gonna turn up. I agree to a point, Mo. I ain't gonna hold you.
That's funny. I definitely want Burks to work out because I looking at that situation when he was with Tennessee and getting released, like I always kind of looked at it like, damn, I'm always for that second chance story. So when he ended up, signing here, I was excited to see, what he did in the little bit of opportunities he did. He produced more than I thought so. But I think that it was a lot of opportunities left on the table for Burks last year. And I think this year with Blau, I think Blau is gonna find a way to get everybody involved. And was it Burks that was talking? Wasn't it Burks we was talking on when he was like, Blau's his dog? Yeah, that was Burks. Yeah, that was Burks. He was like, man, that's my dog. Like he was talking about, being out there with Jayden and Cliff off the 6 in the morning and having conversation, going through there, whatever. And then here come Blau out of nowhere, just start talking to him and telling them, giving them insight. And, a week later, Blau's drawing up plays for Burks. So, I think Blau is going to bring a different dynamic, to the offense. And, he used some of these guys for sure. I think really Peters and Dan gave Blau a list of things that they want to see. And I think Blau is going to do everything he can to check that list off. Because, of course, he's fresh, he's motivated, he want to do well because he's thinking about the next job, in a sense. Whereas, like, Cliff, he was thinking about the next job. But, I mean, you can walk around like, man, I'm Cliff Kingsbury. I got a name already. You know what I mean? So I'm making this up, but it could be an attitude mindset like that where Blau is more hungry. He's younger. Everybody's trying to figure him out or, what he going to do. And this is his time to shine because they don't know nothing about him. And if he comes out and has a top-notch offense, trust and believe they're going to be calling him for head coaching jobs. You let him go out there and lead us to the fucking Super Bowl or have a top 5 offense. He's getting them calls ASAP. So I think Blau is hungry.
Yeah, I would bring Diggs in. I definitely would bring Diggs in.
Diggs over OBJ for sure.
Yeah, Diggs over OBJ, definitely for certain. And I agree. I do. Should we go out there? We NFC Championship or something? He's good as gone. He's gonna get a head coach job so goddamn fast. It's ridiculous. We was talking about Cliff getting a head coach job. He's going to get a head coach job.
Facts.
With the quickness.
Facts. Who's the next man up?
1 year with
DJ Williams,
3 years coaching experience, and 1 year as a coordinator, head coach in this league. Crazy work.
Who the next man up after him? DJ Williams, or what's the other guy that they brought in? We're gonna be look around and be. They gonna be our OC.
Crazy, man. Crazy.
So it's like you want your guys to succeed, but then it's like, I don't want to lose them. So
yeah, exactly.
But again, his next opportunity could be here. You never know.
Well, as a head coach,
DQ might ride off in the sunset. You never know.
Oh, if he win a chip?
Yeah, or you know how he always wants next man up and he promoting. I just was thinking like, does he succeed DQ in a way? Maybe after 1 or 2 years I have it pans out, but he could potentially be our next head coach. Sort of like, the situation wasn't fully bad with Gruden when McVay was getting them interviews, but at that time I was preaching that we should have just offered Gruden a job in the front office or whatever, or give him a bunch of money to buy him out and make McVay the coach, because you see what McVay ended up turning out. So I don't want that to happen again. So
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, we can see
they
that.
are definitely
Something like that. To take a page out of my guy John's book. I can see that.
Go ahead. Go ahead. So yeah. No need for Odell right now. We're trying to get younger. Yeah. Speaking of John, we can call Odell up if we get some injuries or something. He'll be available week 6. I mean, fuck. Odell been trying to play football in the last 3-4 years. I thought he retired. Remember he made the post? It was like kneeling on the field or something. I thought he was done. So triple up. Let's go, Biggie Steve. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Everyone knocking OBJ. What is the same people that weren't willing to kick the tires on Derrick Henry before he balled out in Baltimore? That's a little different, I think, in my opinion. Derrick Henry was, well, shit. I know when they got rid of him, I was saying we should have tried to get him. I don't even know if we called or not, but I felt like Derrick Henry had, a lot left of the tank. When things kind of went sour in Tennessee. It wasn't. I don't think it was the same exact situation. I see what you're saying, but I don't think it's the same exact situation because, Derrick Henry was an active player versus, Odell hasn't been in the league about 3-4 years. When the last time he played?
Baltimore, like 2 years ago.
It was longer than 2 years ago.
2-3 years ago. One of them. I don't know. And isn't he coming off an injury?
He got injured. Yeah, he did get injured.
Appreciate you, Iron Black Mall, for the super chat. Thank you.
He was in Miami in 2024.
Yeah, but I think I'm out on D Hop and OBJ for them. I mean, I don't know. Shit. D Hop, he ain't look too good. Man. I mean, he's been playing, but in situations where I'm thinking like you got a player of his caliber, like maybe I keep thinking about the D Hop of old, the nuke of old. And
but they wasn't throwing. The usage ain't the same either, though.
Yeah, but he was in the game a lot of times, and they wasn't going his way.
Yeah, it wasn't going his way. Now, why I don't know, but yeah. Appreciate that. Appreciate that double up, Maul. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Aja said, going back to Biggie Steve's comment, the comparison is wild. Yeah, definitely. Like OBJ and Derrick Henry, like their values of where people see them is two different players. At this part of their career, you know what I'm saying? Like,
see John,
I feel like I feel like Derrick Henry was still doing his thing. OBJ is like 2010's Ric Flair. He ain't actually retired until you pay him to sit down, shut the fuck up, and go ahead. Go ahead.
Yep.
Yeah, Aja says I can't judge the Ravens. They weren't using Henry like that either. Harbaugh's buns. Last year they wasn't using them. Shit, they should have used them like they used them the year before. But I don't think that's on Harbaugh. I think that's on Monken, the offensive coordinator that went with Harbaugh to New York. So Todd Monken was clearly buns, in that situation. Mm-hmm. So I agree. King Henry is still a top 5 running back in this league, still doing it at a high level. I wish I would take him. I don't know why the fuck we didn't put in the deal for his ass, because they got him for fucking nothing.
Hey,
Instagram, they saying much respect to OBJ. We need youth. DeAndre Hopkins is going to be available too. Hollywood Brown. I would take Hollywood over them. They're talking about what do we think about Marquise Brown? What's your thoughts on Marquise Brown, Z?
Hollywood signed with somebody.
Oh.
Didn't he sign with the Eagles?
Oh, yeah. Did he? I don't know.
I think Hollywood signed with the Eagles. He was somebody. Let's see.
They saying they at least want to.
What up?
They at least want to try to make a deal with Rashad Bateman.
I saw somebody called and inquired on Bateman via trade. I saw a tweet come through.
Yeah, Eagles.
Yeah. Hollywood Brown signed with the Eagles. 1 year, worth up to 6.5. Yeah, remember Jack Texan was like, yeah, y'all sites over the Army.
Who is y'all?
They got Hollywood.
They got a that Z was sized over the Army. Reedie was never sized over the Army. I think Asia was sized too on the low. I think Asia was just like sized over her and John was sized. John tried to keep it cordial to, so he can have it out. He think he's slick.
Go ahead.
I think Juan was sized too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Juan was sized about the Army. Calvin really is he's still in Tennessee, and I think he's on a no, was it Jacksonville or Tennessee?
Tennessee.
Was he injured last year?
She's a Diami guy. It's a North Carolina thing. If you know, you know. I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Calvin Ridley last year, 17 catches, 303 yards, no touchdowns. How many games did he play?
Asia talking about they root for Diami. He went to the same school.
He only played 5 games last year.
Yeah, man. All of y'all new people that are in here, we thank y'all for y'all support for tuning in with us. If y'all like what we're doing around here and the content that we're putting out, please just hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? So the algorithm could pick us up and share us with other like-minded Commander fans. And if you feeling like you really like us, then subscribe to the channel via YouTube. You know what I'm saying? As well as follow us at Reedie and Z on all social media platforms: TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook, for your up-to-the-minute Commanders news.
Yeah. And before we close out, this last thing, just a little bit more in detail with what Kyle was saying. From Kyle Shanahan on Brandon Aiyuk, we're in no rush to do that. You've got to do what's right for the Niners, and you're not trying to hook up any other team as fast as you possibly can. Hopefully that we can get something for that, and I'll take care of it, and it'll take care of itself.
So thank you for the honesty, Kyle.
It's petty.
Thank you for the honesty. They trying to
Kyle
get
don't like us.
Yeah, like
Kyle don't like us. We ain't getting nothing for free.
We already know he gonna come. I'm not gonna say it's a lock for him to come here, but any team, he ain't just about to just give him a player, and they can use it to their advantage. So it makes sense. It is being petty. It's being petty, but you're under contract, so that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. It is what it is.
Contract.
That's the crazy part.
How y'all feeling about that? Like, what's y'all like? Everybody that's on the live right now, like, how y'all feeling? Like, does that make y'all mad, or is y'all good with that?
Did you see when the Browns had proposed a rule to allow draft picks to be traded up to 5 years in advance?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, that was something that they was proposed, but they withdrew it. They proposed that like a few weeks ago for a rule change. They trying to get like the NBA trade 2020, 2031 picks and shit.
Shout out my man Biggie Steve, man. You blessing us with the super chats today. We really appreciate you for your support, man. Thank you. He says check out his nephew Jordan, White Center from Vanderbilt. Where's White. John at? John, you in the chat. What's your analysis on this the center from Vanderbilt?
Let me see. Jordan White, Vanderbilt. He's a 3-star prospect out of DeMatha, ranked 34th guard in the class of rivals. .6'2", 300 pounds, Lago, Maryland. Shout out to the local kid, man. Doing amazing things out of Vanderbilt. That's what's up, man. Love to see all the youngest doing their thing, especially the locals, man. It's definitely dope. I'm trying to see if I can get a picture.
What's the move, Roland? Trade the franchise for a player. Oh, I guess he's talking about the San Francisco situation.
Yeah, we're not trading. Looked like back in September, Jordan made. Not this post. It's a different one. My bad, y'all. Stop screen share. Looks like back in September, Jordan was Offensive Lineman of the Week, SEC Offensive Lineman of the Week. Shout out the local kid, Jordan White. So this is senior year coming up. There you go, right here. This is his senior year coming up, Steve. I'm good with it. Brandon Aiyuk is an injured player with a massive contract. Who in their right mind is going to trade for him? Yeah, we're not doing that. That's a Z move. That is not a Z move. Nah, I done it in my Madden history. I traded every first round pick for the whole Madden to get Calvin Johnson. And I won some Super Bowls out of that. So hey, I pulled a Mike Dicker. Instead of whole draft, though, I did the whole Madden, every first round pick.
Well, he said trade the whole draft this year.
I said trade the third.
He said everything.
Third round and back.
He said everything everything except the first round pick. For who again?
Brian Thomas Jr.
For Brian Thomas Jr. Jacksonville Jaguars.
Brian Thomas Jr. Why not? I did that for Mike Vick Z back in the day.
Now you try to say, y'all see how Z be capping.
What?
He said the first and the third.
I said the third and beyond. The third and beyond.
Oh yeah, because we don't have a second. So yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Why not, Roland? You tripping? What is this, third year? One of Jayden's right hand man. The man had what, 1,400 yards his rookie year? Like, what was it?
Teddy's and Strawberry _ Miami on Instagram said that's overpaying though. That's way overpaying for BTJ, and he's had a crappy year.
That was just last year.
So what was that? 5 picks?
He had.
I think that's a little bit too much, in my opinion. BTJ, now I say give up a third and something else maybe for him, but not everything. That's too much.
He had 87 catches.
You'll have him
1,300 yards.
2 years, and then if you 5th year option him, 3 years total team control.
Sign me up.
Who are
you drafting? It's really just a third. Yeah, like who are you drafting from 5s?
We have 2 thirds. We have 2 thirds.
We got 1/3.
We had 2 thirds, or was it 2 6?
We got like 2 6.
Okay.
Yeah, like who are you drafting? I know y'all saying it's 5 picks, 5 players. Okay, so what? But who look at the caliber of players we gonna be getting with that? I mean, you
Not necessarily though. Like somebody made a comment earlier. Puka Nacua was a 5th round pick.
not no 3rd through 7th round, Asia. Y'all looking at it just 5 picks. We're talking about picks that don't hold value. I ain't saying 5 first or 5 first and seconds. What I was about to say he had.
What I say on that post? He was smoking that K2.
Yeah, K2. He had 87 catches, 1,282 yards on 10 touchdowns his rookie season. Last year he did fall off. I mean, he only had 48 catches. He still had 707 yards.
How many touchdowns?
2 touchdowns last year.
I mean, that's an okay season. 700 and some yards. 40 or 40.
He'll be the number 2 guy here with last year's numbers.
Now we're 5 picks,
and we're talking about on a down year. Them 5th, 6th, and 7th. The only pick that really matters is the 3rd round.
Yeah. If we get Jeremiah,
we ain't the Rams, Ma. We ain't the Rams. So far in 2 years,
with the Rams. That was the Rams when they got Jalen Ramsey. They was fucking stacked. Yeah, that's what they went and got. But shit, they had a team and they still fucking winning.
Let's go through this. Let's go through this.
Our roster is fucking abysmal.
All right, let's go to this. Bringing to the stage. All right, we know Jayden Daniels round 1, 2024. This is just 2024. Jazon Newton hasn't panned out. Mikey Sanders still, you can argue Mikey. Ben Sinnott hasn't done anything. Brandon Coleman, the jury is out. We don't know. Lukey Pookie, up until week 10, Reedie was ready to cut his ass. Jordan McGee, we ain't seen much, and it's promising. Hamilton has been cut. Baptiste has been cut. That was 2024. This is 3rd back end. Look at the caliber of players we're getting there. All right, now let's look at. Let me stop sharing that real quick, and I'm gonna bring up 2025. Hold on.
Asia keep wanting to blame it on the coordinators. At some point, the players got to be held accountable. They got to be held accountable. Yes, as a coach, you got to put them in the positions to be successful. But at the end of the day, you got to play fucking football.
All right, let's go. All right, Connolly.
You're still out on Josh Connolly.
Trey Amos was a 2nd round pick. We good there. We had no 3rd round pick last year. Jaden Lane. I mean, punt returner at best. Punt returner, wide receiver value is out on him, but punt returner, he's looking like he'll be nice there. But okay. Kane Madrano, we didn't hear nothing about him. And then Krosky Murray.
Yeah, you got your starting running back.
That's a steal.
It's a 7th round pick, and you said,
how many times do you draft a 7th round pick and pan out to be that? How many times did that happen?
You might get a 7th and a 6th this year. That might pan out and be something. Everybody said we need to draft a kicker. Finally, get a kicker in the late rounds. We might have the next fucking Justin Tucker in this bitch.
That's what I'm saying. Adam Peters ain't the Rams GM. So at this rate that Adam's going, that's why I just showed y'all all these picks. At the rate that Adam is going, trade them damn picks for BTJ and keep it moving. Why not? Your Jayden Newton, he was a 2nd round pick. He had 2 2nd round picks that ain't panned out. Get out of here with that. 5th round pick cut already. 7th round pick cut already.
So on Instagram, they said no, Jordan McGee and Johnny Newton, they're going to do big things. Coaches will always be thrown under the bus. They are always the scapegoat. I agree with that comment. Coaches are going to be thrown under the bus. You got to hold these fucking players accountable. Like Asia just has a visceral feeling for Cliff Kingsbury and Joe Witt. So, that's why she on what she on. Like that's my read on that. Yeah, but I don't know, Z. I don't know. Too much. Anybody not agreeing with you? You got any more outlandish statements that we can clip it? Clip
Good.
it. Say it for the AI. Clip it right now.
Clip it. Ben definitely was drafted too high for his skill set. AP effed up on that one. Yeah, we'll see. They out here. They out here. They out here talking about. They out here talking about Lawrence Cager.
Right.
Fact. And we put a second round pick on Ben Sinnott. Clip it. Lawrence Cager.
Clip it.
Come on now.
I said that. I told niggas that Sinnott must not be the guy behind the doors. I'm telling y'all. Everybody keep talking about this is that and the third. I'm telling y'all, bro. He said that in a press conference at the league meetings. It's crazy work talking about Lawrence Cager. A guy that did he barely even did he see the field for 5 snaps this season? I just remember from the damn preseason. That's it.
Yeah. What is that? Had the whole starting line back and put 0 points in the back.
Ben was drafted too high. Shit, he was looking sweet when he came out though. When I seen that highlight package, I thought he was all. I was like, okay, yeah, nice little H-back situation. Luke McCaffrey is another. I mean, he's correct
it ain't just a not. Again, Newton, what has he done? They just went out and got Tim Settle 2 years after drafting Newton. They went out and got Kinlaw last year, a year after drafting Newton.
Yeah, they definitely gonna be bitching about that.
These dudes, they ain't drafting top. They not drafting well so far. I'm not saying they shitty or whatever, but if you're going at this rate, they're not drafting well. So we're talking about a third and beyond. Give me BTJ. I'll take that production. Even at 700 yards last year, he will be number 2. The number 2 receiver in this offense.
So what I hear out of that, y'all, is after 2 seasons, after 2 drafts under Adam Peters, he's kind of
at this rate. I ain't sold yet.
Rivera type vibes.
I ain't gonna say
Ron. Is that what you saying, Z?
I ain't gonna say Ron.
I just want to clip it right now because if that's it, you know what I'm saying.
I'm not gonna say Ron Eugene Rivera because he still got Mikey out of it out of them. He drafted Bill. He drafted Mikey. He drafted, well, we'll see about McGee. So I can't even speak on that yet, but hopefully he's right on that. So, yeah, I mean, he got some picks in the mix, but for the most part, nah.
But I'm trying to figure out, like, how are y'all so sold on some of these players? Like, and then some players is just like they were a bust, and then some of these niggas y'all giving passes because they made like 2-3 plays. Like, they ain't did shit either. All of these niggas is ass. Like, if I'm just being honest.
Lane got thrown. They talked about Deshaun Jackson-like ball tracking with Jalen Lane.
That shit yet.
Clip it. They said Deshaun Jackson ball tracking. That man had a stop and go up the sideline. 1 catch last year on that. All that other shit he was catching, he was dropping. He came in and gave us 2 punt returns. Then we're saying he's the best punt returner since Brian Mitchell, since Speedy Banks.
Fuck out of here.
I ain't even all the way sold on that yet. Like, I need to see more.
I'm definitely sold on that.
I need to see more.
I do think them 2 fucking punt returns bought him some time now.
Yeah, it bought him some time, absolutely. And it's exciting because we don't see that type shit here. So I get it. But come on, y'all, man. I was out on Jalen Lane probably midway through the season. I remember it was like a 3rd down. He had a fucking sure first down. He dropped it, and I might have been against Green Bay. I was mad as shit. Like, why are we even throwing it to him on 3rd down when you got Terry McLaurin on the field?
Shit, I give him fuck no. They saying on Instagram give him a 3rd round pick and Luke McCaffrey for Aiyuk. But I don't want to take on that contract.
No.
I give up a 6th or 7th and Luke.
I'm not taking on. I'm not trading because I'm not taking on the contract. That's just.
If you had to re-sign him. ASAP.
Yeah, like if it was a situation where it was regular, hell yeah, Luke, bye. 3rd round pick, bye. But that contract and that plan, nah. You're not trading. You're not getting him in the trade. And it's nobody going to trade for him, period.
Yeah, I don't know. And this is my question to everybody in the chat and the fan base as a whole. And I know y'all love to, y'all see, they say Reedie be controversial with his takes. But I just don't understand, like, the love. I mean, I understand it. Don't get me wrong. I got love for him too. But I'm about to blow y'all mind with this one. Pause. If a pause was needed beforehand, it's 3 pauses in front of it because that was crazy. Blowing somebody's mind is crazy. But at the same time, Mikey Sanford still. Like, y'all act like that nigga is just like that. I mean, he cool. He ain't locked down. Like, I mean, he made some plays. He had some turnovers and stuff like that. But that nigga ain't like how y'all be making it seem like he just that nigga. Like he like fucking Pat Surtain or somebody out there. Like, yeah, we could put him inside. We don't got to worry about Mike. He's getting his ass cooked last year. Fuck is y'all talking about? Even with all of the turnovers that even with all of the turnovers that he got, he was getting his ass fried.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I don't know. I like him. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, like the glaze factor for him, like some of these players is just like they're untouchable players, like they can never be moved. Fuck out of here. They can be moved.
Mm-hmm.
Like what else they saying?
The whole league has kickers that's kicking from damn near the parking lot, but we can't get one consistent 45 yards. We can't kick from the fucking goal line.
That's facts, Mo. I ain't gonna hold you. Like facts. Bet niggas can't even make a 35-yard kick. Oh, they're supposed to be automatic from 50 and below, and we're like psyched for that. Like, dog, these niggas kicking from 70 yards, and they don't even want to go knock on the fucking door about like even bring them in for a workout or nothing.
What's that kicker name that's in the draft? Got the crazy name?
You talking about smack him?
Yes.
Smacking?
What is it? Tim Smacking?
Trey Smacking.
Trey Smacking.
Trey Smack. It's Trey Smack. But John put smacking on it. That's crazy. John did it. And you can go back because we already said clip it. And they got the clips back when you said that shit. So don't get in capping, John. Shout out my man John Ball and Burgundy Podcast. That's my guy. You know everybody was looking for us on Wednesday because they wanted Reedie to roast John ass. But I'm giving John a pass. I'm going to give John a pass. That's his one pass. But he got one more time to say some slick shit.
John got some shit for you. You can't.
He got his shit. Come tell him pull up.
He got his notes.
My man John, we was in a group chat the other day. My man John got fucking copious notes prepared. He got on chat, then told chat to like spaz up some motherfucking Jones and shit for Reedie. You know what I'm saying? But you know, they're the way they crack ain't how we Joan from the city. I ain't gonna hold you.
Nah, facts.
And as soon as Juan try to size it, I'm gonna cook his ass because you know that's how it go. Supposed to get too funny and they keep trying to say you gotta switch it. Transference, you got, and if Zeke they keep laughing,
you laughing at it. I ain't gonna say that. I'll be sitting there like this.
On mute the whole time.
Get him, Reedie, get him.
I ain't gonna get my man John. I'm gonna leave John alone. I ain't gonna get him. We need John for this draft. John fuck around, don't come back on the show. He fuck around. John fuck around and be like, yeah, the Balling in Burgundy podcast has made
management. BIB management has
made a decision that we will no longer produce content with the Burgundy breakdown.
We're Reedie from TBB and Reedie and Z.
Shout out my man Andrew. Shout out my man Andrew. Shout out my man John, man.
Shout out.
I seen my man Chris on the gram the other day, man. Shout out my man Chris.
What did Chris say in the comments the other day? Oh my God, it was something funny. I forgot. It was funny. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Crazy work. Crazy work. Anything else? Y'all got anything else in the comments? Let's check Instagram one more time. What they saying on Instagram? The entire secondary got cooked. I agree. They say, okay, let's get into it. Don't agree with this take because we can never develop who we draft. This is 1380p says, don't agree with this take because we can never develop who we draft. But he is a bright spot for a cooked defense. What if he has a bounce back year? So my whole premise of what I said was, I think he's a player on the rise, and he hasn't yet, hit his ceiling of potential. Correct. But I just think that it's just like certain players, like they make 3, 4, 5 plays for us. And I'm not saying that that's what he did. I'm just throwing this out there and I'm throwing stuff at the wall. We be overly sized and acting like they're untouchable players, like they can't be moved or they're just the next best thing coming to Jesus Christ. And that shit don't be true. Like legitimately true. Like we be crowning players way before they need to be crowned. And I just was using him as an example, not saying that he's trash or I don't want him on my organization or I want him out the building or he's this or he's that. Great young player, definitely got so much potential. But nigga was getting his ass cooked too, like the rest of them. So we got to hold all of these players accountable. Like all of them ain't under reproach to get whatever or get any comments. Like even Terry, like when I was saying the comments I was saying about Terry, they was going on me for saying that. But the shit was true what I was saying. I ain't say no lies. So, it is what it is.
Terry. Oh yeah, Noah Brown. He was done. Yeah, I was done with Noah Brown. 2024 season for sure.
But Z is, and the reason why I brought that up, because Z is famous for that. Let's segue into that. Let's get some controversy started. Because Z, if he's a Z guy, Z give him 50,000 chances. But anybody else, get him the fuck out of there, Reedie. We don't need his ass. Get him the fuck out. But if it's a Z guy, he got every fucking excuse in the book.
I haven't done that since Gibby though, Reedie.
So you're admitting it?
I haven't done it since Gibby.
So you're admitting it right now. Clip it.
At one point, there was, a certain player who needed chances after chances. I mean, it started with Gibby because your biggest issue was he fumbles too much. He keep falling and shit. And I kept saying, I see the potential in Gibby. We should continue to give him chances. Like, give him the ball consistently. That's when they try to, they went and got B-Rob and tried to make it a 2-back system, all that. I was mad at all that because it was like I felt like the year was that COVID year or year before COVID, whatever, we was the football team at the time. Gibby balled out. When he with that year against Dallas, when he had multiple touchdowns and shit, Gibby was hooping. But we came back the following year and switched some shit up and then just took away his chances over a few fumbles when he was your workhorse and produced. So that was my issue there, like continue to give him chances. But I can't pinpoint who I've defended in that way since then.
Han.
You said Han?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that one, Reedie. Han had a nice rookie year. What you talking about? Han, they traded Han year 2, didn't they?
And you almost committed suicide.
But year 1, he hooped. So I was trying to figure out why did they trade him? And you were saying, well, they must think he's not this. Like he hooped year 1. Z is a fair guy. I'm genuine about what I'm saying.
It was a regime change. They came in, he went in.
Yeah, they came in, won it. Yeah, he went. I mean, yeah. That was year 3 they traded him?
Yeah, it was year 3, yeah.
So what was year 2? What happened year 2 with Han? Let me see. I'm trying to remember. I know he wasn't hurt. I keep forgetting my man is in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. He keeps signing contracts. I didn't really think he did much with Philadelphia besides win a Super Bowl, but as far as production wise, but he got another job. Shout out to him.
Yeah, he had 61 catches year 1, 80. No, my bad. That was targets. He had 35 catches year 1, 7 touchdowns, 49 catches year 2, 4 touchdowns. And the 2023, who was the quarterback? Heineke. It was dealing with some quarterback issues here. Well, I mean, did he have drops? I mean, was it a lot of drops or something? I'm trying to figure out why Reedie wasn't sold on him. Because rookie year, Reedie was definitely sold on him.
I was so, but Reedie, I'm quick. It's what have you done for me lately? If you ain't panning out, then you might need to move on. I'm just saying, it is what it is.
He had a regression in touchdowns only. He had about the same amount of yards and about 14 more catches the final year. The next year, rookie year, he got hurt. He only played 12 games. He's played 17 games the second year. And so I don't know what the issue with Reedie was having with him. But yeah, he was poised to be year 3. He got Jayden. He started out, remember, he was in training camp catching bombs, and I guess them clips that they put out got the Eagles' eye.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got rid of Hahn for a steal, so I can live with that one.
Mm-hmm. So next year we have all our draft picks next year.
Yeah,
year 4. Right now. Year 4. So I'm expecting them to sign Jayden this offseason. It only makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You go into the fifth. I mean, they got to make the decision on the 5th-year option this year. So shit, you might as well sign them.
Yeah, they better. And then the whole thing with I was thinking about it too. I wonder if how negotiations gonna go. Like, I wonder if he's like truly happy, or is there like a small percentage of a side where he might be like, damn, y'all just went where the guy, y'all went and got rid of Cliff. Y'all went and made certain changes. I don't know. I just kind of hold on to that thought slightly, because remember when Dukes tweeted out Cliff is their guy and ready to run it back for another year with Cliff and all this and that. And then like a week later, he was fired, and Jayden seemed to not know about it. Like, it was reports that he didn't really know about it or whatever. So I always just think if that has anything, but it's a small percentage. I hope he wasn't. Oh, they gave all these multi-year deals because I believe that is a plan. We didn't sign one player for the Vikings defense. They was talking about what's the cornerback? Jeff. What the fuck is his name? Last name? What's that? It's one of them Nigerian names. Conway. What the fuck is his name? Reedie?
Who, Chick?
No, the cornerback. The cornerback from the Vikings.
Owuzie. I know you're talking about. I don't know his name though. They said we talking about Brian Robinson Jr.
Jeff Okudah.
Jeff Okudah was tough at one point to me.
Mm-hmm. Jeff Okudah, but I mean, they signed Witherspoon.
They signed. Y'all. Oh my God, I didn't see this one on Instagram. They talking about Mikey could be the next Darrelle Revis.
Stop it. Stop it.
Or is he talking about Amos?
Dan Quinn likes the tight end room and sees potential in each man, including Lawrence Cager. I asked Dan Quinn. I love the speed first and foremost because some people have time, speed, and then demonstrated game speed. Oh, okay. Sanat's strength, I really feel like it's still him on the move in the backfield from the line of scrimmage off the line. He can really run and get to the edge. The fuck? John Bates, obviously one of the best inline guys we've got. Colson Yankov is somebody they felt like has really worked hard in a dual role. Thinks Cager has real third down potential. Something Zach Ertz was good at, and with Ertz not currently on the roster, there's space there for Cager to perhaps make his mark. The Rams are looking into your baby goat. You see that?
What the fuck is that?
Now he don't know who his baby goat is.
Who the fuck is that?
Cousins.
I would say he was my fucking goat.
He was definitely. I called him your baby goat because the way he used to defend that nigga.
Nah, because we at that point in time we should have re-signed the nigga. Oh,
this is how the whole argument started, y'all, with the Z guy, Reedie guy, and the whole him trying to paint a picture like I make excuses for my guys. Kirk fucking Cousin is the originator, the very first Reedie guy. And Reedie made excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse for Kirk Cousins. Even when he got the Minnesota and they had that QB shit like Hard Knocks, whatever shit they did. Yeah, bro, you need to look into Kirk, man. He's really a good guy. You know what I mean? He works hard and he puts in the work and he's this, that. Fuck out of here, Reedie.
I did say that. I did say that.
He's a good guy. Like, you should check him out, man. We were wrong about Kirk. Fuck out of here.
Because Reedie's a documentary guy. Like, I'm gonna watch a documentary. If that shit out there, Hard Knocks, anything that's out there, I'm gonna watch that shit. Like, I low-key want to be in the building for real. Like, I want to be behind the scenes and seeing how this shit is operated and ran. So, like, that's something that I always enjoy watching on like those type of shows that take you behind the scenes of what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, because we're out here, we're just guessing. We're saying this and we're saying that. We're looking at tweets and like we ain't got no fucking access, so we don't really know what the fuck is going on. We just basing opinions off of reading tea leaves that may not even be it or shit to speculation. You know what I mean? Right. So like, right. I just think in that situation we shouldn't have franchised him that year. We should have just signed his ass. Like your man, fucking the one that walked past Dan Snyder. I can't remember what's his name. Fucking father, George Allen, father, Bruce Allen. Bruce Allen fucking walked. Niggas was wild. They was best friends at one point, and next thing you know, they walking past each other, not speaking in the hallway and shit. Weird.
Shit, crazy.
Should have signed that man. They got my man Scotty McClone out of there. That was my man. Should have kept him. We would have been further off than we are as a franchise if we would have re-signed Kurt. Now, I'm not saying we would have won the Super Bowl or we would have did this or we did that, but we would have been further off in where we are now if we would have re-signed Kurt.
Yeah, but if you haven't already, please make sure you like, share, subscribe at Reedie and Z on all platforms. We are on the road to 2K. I think this morning we were at 1933. So if you are not subbed to our show, please make sure our channel, please make sure you do so. Tell a friend, tell a friend. You will see us again on Wednesday night with the Burgundy Breakdown. And if there are any breaking news or, you know, related topics that need to, you know, be discussed, we would definitely jump on live and do so. But we are about to wrap this one up. And if my brother don't have anything else, he can close this out.
Yeah, shout out to Biggie Steve for the top contributor today in the super chat realm. Shout out to I Am Black Mall for always supporting the channel. Shout out for Asia, Miss Carter 1107 for always supporting the channel. Also, everybody else that's, you know, in the comments and Instagram and elsewhere that always kind of interacts with us. Is we always say this is an interactive show. Shout out Roland, shout out Slim 320. Who else? Duran. Shout out Duran. And I'm missing one person that I wanted to shout out.
Mike.
I ain't see Mike today, but shout out Mike and shout out Timothy Swindle 4833 for always getting in the comments and, you know, contributing to the conversation of the show. But if my brother don't have nothing else, we're gonna holler at y'all.
We are out. Over and out. Reedie and Z. Peace.
Reedie and Z shout. It's the Reedie and Z shout.